Griselda Blanco built a reputation of killing first and asking questions later. Dubbed the cocaine godmother, the former Colombian drug lord left Miami's streets awash in blood during southern Florida's drug wars of the 1980s. Blanco first made her name as a trafficker in the 1970s and later became a major player in Miami, distributing around 300 kilos, more than 60 pounds, of cocaine a month. To protect her vast empire and eliminate the competition, she reigned with terror, allegedly responsible for more than 200 murders, including the assassination of all three of her husbands, while amassing more than $2 billion in wealth. Before she became a high-level operative with the infamous Medellin cartel and one of the world's richest cocaine kingpins, Blanco lived in poverty, surviving as a pickpocket and prostitute on the streets of Colombia. From rags to ruthless riches, Blanco's life of crime began in childhood. Born in 1943, Blanco moved with her mother, a prostitute, to Medellin, Colombia when she was around 3 years old. She was often beaten and endured years of sexual assault at the hands of her mother's clients. The cycle of violence and abuse led Blanco to roam the streets, where she engaged in prostitution at a young age. She eventually left home and never returned. At the time, Medellin was considered the most dangerous city in the world and epicenter of the coke trade. Blanco became friendly with low-level criminals and resorted to petty offenses to stay alive. From the very beginning, Blanco's crimes were looting and smuggling. At first, it wasn't smuggling cocaine. It was perfume from Venezuela. Aldona Bielowis Pabutsky. At age 11, Blanco allegedly helped kidnap a 10-year-old boy. When the boy's parents refused to pay a ransom, she shot and killed him. Several years later, she married her first husband, Carlos Trujillo, a forger of immigration papers. They had 3 sons together, Osvaldo, Uber, and Dixon, but the marriage fell apart. It is believed Blanco had Trujillo murdered in 1970. Blanco's first foray into big crime came when she met her second husband, a drug trafficker named Albert Bravo. They moved to New York in the early 1970s and began smuggling cocaine into the United States. In a 1989 interview, Drug Enforcement Administration, DEA agent Steve George, told the Sun Sentinel that Blanco was the first to use multiple sources of supply so that she could always keep the cocaine pipeline full. She also advocated for pooling trafficker resources and sharing the risks. Her business model gave rise to the modern-day cartel. On February 17, 1985, Palombo and fellow DEA agents arrested Blanco at her home in Irvine, California. In addition to the drug charges, Blanco pleaded guilty to 3 murders. She struck a deal with prosecutors and served only 15 years in prison. She was released in 2004 and deported to